Hello folks, in the last edition of BC Renovation Magazine I showed you how I repaired the 3-inch main sewer line underneath this home. If you missed that video, go back and have a look at that. In this video we're going to relocate the main water line coming into the unit. We want to put it in a different location, and these are the tools that we're going to use, some of the materials. We're also going to install a new heat tape, which I have here. I'm going to show you how I do that. So stick around folks, and I'll show you how it's done. Alright, so our main water line comes in from that pit over there, and it's that white line. That's a white PEX line, and it currently goes underneath the home and it comes up underneath the kitchen sink over there. We're going to relocate it over to the other side of the home where it comes up underneath or beside the hot water tank. This has been worked on. This is not the original sewer line, or it's not the original water line here. You know, somebody has done some work on this. The way they left this was partially insulated. You can see the black foam on it there. There is no heat tape on it. So we're going to be in the process of moving this. We're going to be, installing the new heat tape and getting this all, all correctly done. All right, and this is where the water line going into the home attaches down inside of this little box here. And you can see there's a gate valve down in here. And from here, up to this point, this all is the park's responsibility, and then from this way, it's our responsibility. So this valve actually belongs to the park. And from here, it goes underground up to the front where we have, a Mueller valve, and I've shown you that in previous videos. And so to work on this today, I would normally just, because we're going to be cutting this line to move it, and I would just normally turn this tap off in here, but it's seized. So I don't want to mess around with that. We could end up with a situation where I break that. So instead of messing around with that, I have asked the park manager to come, and he has turned off the water in the street. So now, there's no water. I don't have to worry about breaking this thing. If you're going to do this yourself, get down in here and you're going to turn off the water so you can work on your plumbing. If these valves don't turn, don't force them, because all of a sudden you could be in a situation where it breaks and you got water, you're in a flood situation. So these gate valves are not the best valves. We prefer to have a ball valve. They don't seize up like this, and I'll show you later in the video what a ball valve looks like. So we're going to be leaving this one alone and installing a ball valve on the other end of this pipe, once we get it where we want it. So inside of the home, this is where underneath the kitchen sink was originally here. And so this was originally the main shutoff for the whole home right here. And this little blue valve. Again, this is a gate valve, not a ball valve, and I'll be showing you the ball valve. But the main water main comes up like this, comes through this valve, and then it goes into the distribution system for the home. This is just temporary. I just put this in here to get some water to, for the outside tap. And so then from here, it goes down and goes into the goes back to the hot water tank. Into the various places in the mobile home. So you can see how this is done here. This is all below the level of the floor of the cabinets. It's very unhandy. The old cabinets, I think, probably had a cutout in the floor, so you could get down and turn this valve on and off. And then if your kitchen sink, under your kitchen sink looks like mine, under my kitchen sink, there's always a lot of stuff underneath there. To get in there to turn that off, it's kind of a pain. So what I prefer to, and also another thing with this is that when you put a heat tape on it, the heat tape, there's a plug for the heat tape underneath the floor here, so that will be in the crawl space, and you have no way to monitor your heat tape. It's all concealed completely, so you can't keep track of what's going on with your heat tape. So what we're going to do is we're going to relocate the main valve over to this closet here. So this is going to be the the hot water tank is going to be in here eventually once we get this all cleaned up. And so I want to bring the main up through here somewhere, and then I'm going to relocate the plug for the heat tape is going to go here somewhere right below the panel. Okay, and so I won't have that run over to that other area under the kitchen sink. That way my plug will be here, my GFI breaker will be here on the plug, my LED for my heat tape will be here as well. I'll be able to look into the closet and monitor all of this stuff, the ground fault and the LED on the heat tape to make sure everything's going. If I need to shut the water off in the home for some reason, you know, there'll be a closet door here. I'll just open the closet and it's going to be right there. All right, folks, so we'll carry on here. I'll show you how this is going to come together. All right, folks, so moving a little further along here. So this is the area where the old water main was. It's right here, and this is underneath the kitchen sink in the home. And so I showed you that valve before, but you know, you can see they've been doing some work underneath here. They've had some problems with the pipes breaking, so they just left it like this, you know, all open, no insulation. The belly wrap is, you know, has to be repaired. You can get a good look at that old PEX there with the plastic fittings, or sorry, the old Poly B with the plastic fittings. We will be replacing all of that eventually, but you know, all we're doing here now is just relocating the water main, and this here is the outlet for the heat tape. This is the original location of it, and so we will be relocating that inside the home where we can monitor the ground fault status of it and test it, you know, without crawling underneath here. And so I've got the new water line all in place here. I'm just going to kind of show you how it works. You can see that black foam wrap thing there that goes back down to the I'll just take you down there, show you the source where it comes into the home. And you can see this is way easier to do this without skirting on. So this is what I've done here. I did this before. So down in this box is where that tap is, and what I've done is I've ran the heat tape, you know, along the cable first before I put this insulation wrap. And what I've done here now is put some fiberglass insulation in there. So now this, you know, that's not going to freeze. In our climate, this works. You know, if you were in a, you know, really cold climate, you might have to do something differently. But for, you know, for our semi-arid desert climate here, this works well. And so, you know, I'll show you the other end. I'll take you to the other end. But this is just how it kind of snakes along underneath here. All right. So let's go back out to the other end. And so now instead of going underneath the kitchen sink, we're going up over there, and that's where the hot water tank is up above. Alright, so now I'll show you this heat tape. So what we're using here, our main water line is a 3/4 inch PEX pipe, and then this is the heat tape that that I like to use, and it's just a ribbon of wire. It's, you know, sort of the same idea as hot water or electric blanket, and you know, you just tape it flat to the pipe. Now there's different kinds of heat tapes, different brands, and all I can tell you about this is to, you know, follow the instructions for your whatever brand of heat tape you bought, you know, to make sure that you don't do anything that's going to cause you problems. You know, some you'll notice that this particular heat tape is just, you know, straight along the side here. Sometimes you'll see them kind of wrapped in a spiral. This brand of heat tape, which is easy heat, you can't do that. You can create a fire hazard. There's also specifications with this particular heat tape that you can't back it up on itself, so like double it over if you've got too much heat tape. So what I've done is, this is 40 feet, my heat tape was 40 feet, you know, and it comes in specific measurements, and you can't cut the heat tape to length to make it fit. And so I've just made this all work for a 40-foot heat tape. And so you can see I'm insulating this, and I'm putting this foam jacket on here. And so this foam, it's just a foam jacket, and it's split, and you put it over the pipe like such, and then you pull these it's self-adhesive. As you pull these apart, you know, then you squeeze it together. Now this is stuck together right in here, okay? And so then I'll be putting this together like this. And now it is stuck together, but what I like to do is I like to, you know, every 6-8 inches or so, I just put a wrap of electrical tape over that, around it, and that keeps it, you know, just keeps everything intact. And, you know, in case you get people underneath here moving around, doing things, it just keeps everything intact. And sometimes I found that eventually that, you know, that adhesive on this crack here can let go. Now you can see there's a bit of room in there. So this foam stuff comes in different sizes. You can get it in 1/2 inch, 5/8, 3/4. So, you know, you're thinking if, well, you got a 3/4 inch pipe, you use 3/4 inch insulation. But with what I found is with the heat tape in there, it's the thickness of that heat tape just makes it too thick. And if you use a 3/4, it doesn't allow it to come together, you know, tight like this, and you end up with gaps. So I use 1 1/4 inch. This is actually for 1 1/4 inch pipe, and you know, you can see how everything fits in there, and it actually creates a little bit of an airspace and helps to keep things warm, you know, together with the airspace and the foam jacket and the heat tape. That will never freeze. All right, so now I'm going to take you over to the other end here. I think I'm just going to go around the other side. Bear with me, it's easier than crawling over that sewer pipe. And your heat tape is something that you want to make sure it's in good working order. There's nothing worse than trying to do that, you know, on a cold day in January where it's, you know, it's come apart on you, or not come apart, but it's frozen on you. And now you have no water, and you got to crawl underneath here when it's really cold and try and fix it and unthaw it and all of that. Trust me, I've done it. It's not great. Way easier to do it, you know, when the weather's good. All right, so there's our main water coming, you know, line. So I'll be finishing the insulation up to this point here. And what we have here is a thermostat. This orange module here is a thermostat, and there's a sensor on the back of this module that touches the pipe. And I will be insulating this. I'll show you this when it's all done, but I'll be insulating this up to the module and leaving the module exposed, and then I'll insulate it further up inside of there. Now the reason for the metal pipe is to create a nice I'll be taping this around eventually. This is just temporary. I'll take you inside and I'll show you what I got going inside, but it helps to keep rodents out, you know. I'll be taping this up with some of that red sheathing tape, technical tape, and then this cavity here will be full to prevent rodents from coming up the pipe and into your home. You know, they come up in by the hot water tank. So this is a thermostat. It just sits here on standby. It senses when it's cold. It'll start to put some heat some electricity into the heat tape and warm the pipe. When it gets warm enough, it will shut off. And I like to leave my module exposed so that we make sure that it's gonna activate ahead of things getting frozen. Some manufacturers' instructions will tell you to wrap this thing in the insulation as well. I don't do that. This is the 5th one that I've done, and I've got heat tapes out there that are 5 years old, I think it is, and we've had no problems with them. We've had no freezing. It's it's worked out well. Okay, so now I'll take you inside and show you what I got. All right, so now I'm inside of the home, and I'm in the closet here where the hot water tank will eventually be. And this is all going to get finished in here. This is all sort of temporary yet. I just need to get this water line moved, and so I'm trying to tidy things up downstairs in the crawl space. And so this pipe here is the main now coming up into the home. So instead of under the kitchen sink, we're coming up in the closet where the hot water tank is. And this is the other end of the heat tape, and so it has to be plugged into something. So I will be relocating the ground fault plug to this location here, and then this will be plugged in. And when it's plugged into the ground fault, if everything is good, there'll be a green light on the ground fault that indicates that the ground fault is alive, and this little thing here will glow orange to show you that the heat tape is is in standby. Now, to come through the mobile home, so coming up from the belly wrap, through the insulation, through the floor joists, you can see I've got this pipe here. All this pipe is I just took a piece of 4-inch pipe, and you can see how I made these little flanges here on it. Okay, that's nothing fancy here. It's just a piece of 4-inch pipe. And once we get this all finished in here, I'll be putting a new floor in here and tidying this all up. So again, this is just sort of temporary, but here's going to be the main valve now for the home, inside the home. It's inside the home right here. And so if you have to do anything with the main frame there, yeah, right here. So this is it's going to be the main valve. That's on, and this is off. And so then from here it will go into the distribution station system for the home. And so I just temporarily have this set up to keep me so I have water inside of here, but eventually this will be a nice plywood floor in here, and this thing will get screwed down to the new floor, and then this thing will get filled with insulation so that rodents don't get up. This is the pan for the hot water tank here, and so eventually, once this is all finished again and the hot water tank is sitting here, this pan will catch any water that leaks out of the hot water tank, and it'll go through this drain, and then this will have a pipe on it which will go down through this little chaseway and go underneath the home, so that when the hot water tank leaks, it's not if, it's when. They always leak. They all leak. This one leaked before. There's damage underneath the floor from it, and that we will be repairing. And so the pipe will come out of here and down there, and that will all be packed full of insulation to keep the varmints out, and also to keep to keep it warm. All right, so again, this is sort of temporary. The only thing here that's going to stay is from this valve down. All the rest of this is all going to get taken out. We have to put in a pressure reducing valve here, which will go in at a later date. But I want to finish this little room all out before I start putting finished stuff in there, just to keep it clean and neat. All right, folks. So I'll show you one more clip here once we get it all kind of done together underneath there, to just kind of show you how it comes out around that module. And this is the ball valve. This is a ball valve, and so you have ball valves, and then you have those turny valves, which are called gate valves. And we've got, I showed you that first one in the first clip there, that valve down at the other end of the system here, where it's down in that hole and it seized. I couldn't turn it off, and that's why we had to have the part come out and turn it off in the street. So I'm using these ball valves, and so here, this is the ball valve down here, and it's just simply up is on and down is off, and you don't have that turny thing. So these are really great valves. You know, they will never seize up on you like the gate valves will. You know, there's no packing in there. There's none of that stuff to mess around like with those other ones. Basically, there's no maintenance. You can come here from 20 years from now and it'll still, you know, still work just like this. Whereas those other ones, you know, they tend to, the packing wears out on them and they'll drip on you, and you know, you have to replace packing and stuff. These ball valves, those are the way to go. So just like this, you know, we're using PEX. So this is a PEX to PEX, 3/4 inch, you know, and the PEX comes on here and we crimp it on with the rings. Yeah, this is my PEX crimper right here. And this is how I cut the PEX, is with these guys. So there's just a, you know, blade on there. These are cheap. This is expensive. This tool here, I can crimp both 3/4 and 1/2 inch. That's a $200 tool right there. But if you're going to do this yourself, you know, you can rent all this stuff. Go down to your rental. Home Depot has a good rental place in our area. You can just go down there and rent tools. You know, if you don't have the tools, want to do this kind of stuff, and you know, want to not buy anything, you know, you're just going to do it one time, then just rent them. Myself, you know, how I've accumulated a lot of my tools over the years is, you know, I'll take on a job. You know, the job might cost me, if I was to hire it out, it might cost me $1,000 to hire it out. You know, the tools that I don't have that I need to do the job might be $100, $200, you know, to get the tools. And so I go buy the tool, do the job myself. I save $800, and I got the tool for another time. So, you know, there's different ways you can approach collecting tools, and that's how I have over the years. And I've collected a lot of tools. All right, I just wanted to show you now how this is kind of finished up here. So I've got the rest of that insulation around my pipe here, and I've run it up to this little module. This is the thermostat module, and you can see how I've left it exposed here. So I've ended the foam insulation here, and then I've, you know, put some more up here into the pipe, and you know what that's going to do is just kind of protect it from this raw edge here, you know, from chafing the PEX. And so, you know, I've left this exposed. So now this is exposed to the elements underneath the mobile home here, and you know, so it will sense the temperature, you know, quicker than if it was wrapped into the insulation. So this particular brand suggests that you run the insulation up past that, so that this thing is inside. That's one thing that where I don't follow the instructions, and like I said before, you know, I've done this. This is my 5th one, and this works really well. It may consume a little bit more electricity, but not that much in our climate. Okay, so you have to be specific for your climate, and you know, kind of do things the way other people do it in your area. Other people in my area do this the same way. You know, I've learned this from talking to them, that this is the best way to do this for where we are. Yeah, so you know, this thing, like I say, it doesn't operate all the time. It only operates when it reaches a certain temperature. Then this module will kick it on and put power into it. Other than that, it just sits here on standby, and it just, you know, the only electricity that it consumes is that little LED thing on the end of the plug. When it is running, it's about equivalent to, I'm not sure how many watts. This might be 400 watts. It's, you know, it's not a real energy hog. All right, so park manager was just here, and he put the water back on out in the street there, and everything tests out good, so got no leaks. And so this is the heat tape that I like to use, folks. And I'm not sponsored by these people. If they're watching this video and they want to sponsor me, yeah, that'd be all right. But this is an Easy Heat brand, and yeah, this is a 40-footer, and so, you know, it's available in lengths from, you know, 3 feet all the way up to well, it shows only 30 feet here, but I have put them on 50 feet, so they must be, yeah, they must not make them in that longer length anymore. Actually 60 feet I think was the longest one I ever had. But yeah, I highly recommend this brand. They work really well. You know, I don't use this insulation, this wrap insulation like they have here. You know, they're showing it on a copper pipe, but you can use it on metal and plastic pipe, no problem. But yeah, I can highly recommend this. I don't recommend stuff that I don't use and like myself, and it's just not the way I do things. So anyways, folks, that's it for this one. And so I'm not sure what's up next. You know, I'm just cleaning up some stuff underneath there, you know, while it's open and while the weather's good. I think probably the next video is going to be getting into the decks. I have a little bit of repair work to do before I can get into that. So let's just walk around there. And we had some rotten wood that comes into where the deck is. So yeah, I'll just turn the camera around here so you can see here where, you know, we've got some dry rot in here. You know, so, you know, this is going to have to be repaired. You can see here it's kind of punky. Yeah, same thing here, you know. So this is going to have to be fixed before I put my deck. My deck's going to come out to here. So next video, I'll show you how I fix this mess up here. All right, thanks, folks. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.